Hello my dear students. It's so good to see you back. Mr. Max, so excited that you want to learn, and that's what makes you so special. That's what makes you score a math victory, students, because you're so motivated. You want to learn. That makes you very special, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you are Mr. Max student, that you are my student, and I take a great pride of you. Well, in this sub lesson, we're going to talk about solving problems involving percentage. Okay? There's three different scenarios we're going to deal with. The first scenario, let me give you an example. Okay? I got, let's say, 10 apples in my hand. I want to find out if I to say 20% of the apple. Okay, so let's say I said I got 10 apples in my hand, 20% of the apples are bad, all right, or rotten. They got rotten. So I want to find out what is the number, what's the number of the rotten apples. So I gave you, so what was the scenario again was, I have 10 apples, let's say I have in a basket, okay, 10 apples in a basket. And I told you that 20% of the apple got rotten. And I want to find out what is that 20%, the number wise, how many apples. So how are we going to do that? And we're going to use aeroplane method. I'll show you what's the aeroplane method, okay? Now how does the aeroplane look like? The aeroplane method we're going to use is, we're going to look at the nose of the aeroplane. When you look at the nose of the aeroplane, all right? So let's say, for example, this is how the aeroplane looks like, okay? From the side view, am I right? Okay, but we're going to look from the nose of it. So when you look at the nose of the aeroplane, it looks like this. Am I right? Okay. So we're going to translate that into equal and the wing. Two lines and an equal sign like that. We're going to convert that into that. That's the sign we're going to use. Okay. So when I say aeroplane method, we're going to use the equal sign and with the two lines like this. All right. Okay, so now let's talk about the scenario I gave you. I told you I have 10 apples in my hand. Now that 10 apples represent how many percent? The whole 100%. Okay, so the 10 apples represent 100%. Now the unknown is the one I want to find 20%, which is rotten out of the 10 apples. The 20%, and I'm looking for the number. What is the number? If I say 20% of the 10 apples are rotten, what is the number? The number of apples that rotten, which I don't know. I assign a variable, something, a letter, okay, that I don't know. So this case I'm going to say X. The X is the one is 20%. Okay? Now the 100%, all right, I'm going to put right here, which is what? The 10 apples. See that? So I keep all the percentage one side, the apples, the number of apples in the one side. Okay? So, and then I keep it same, parallel. In other words, if I put 100%, which is that 10 apple, the 20% which I'm looking for, which I don't know, I give in a variable. I put an X. Or even you can put an A. Doesn't matter. You can put any variable. Alright, so letters A, B, C, D up to Z is a variable, something that you can use to represent something that you're looking for. You don't know what it is, but this is going to help you to find it, alright, to represent that what you don't know. So we're going to put A. So I'm looking for A, which is a 20%, but I know 100% is 10. To solve for A, so we're looking for A, alright. Now remember from very beginning I kind of explained to you Max's first law. What Mr. Max's first law says? Okay, let's write that down. Max's first law. Max's first law says plus cross the bridge becomes minus. Minus cross the bridge becomes plus. Multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. See that? And that's Max's first law, okay? Now, look at this one. A over 10. What is 10 doing to A? It's dividing. See that? That's a division. See that? I'm looking for A. I have to isolate A. That means I have to move 10 across the bridge. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. That means when I bring A across the bridge, it becomes from divide. It is in a position of dividing. See that? So, or even if I put it in an arrow down method, this would have been A divided by 10. See that? 10 is dividing. So I bring across the bridge. So 20% over 100%, it's become multiply 10. When I bring that across. Okay? From division becomes multiplication. So in other words, from this I bring it across, becomes like that. Alright? So now I can solve it. So I know A equals to 20% over 100% times 10. Now percent cancel. See the 0 and 0, I can cancel with this 0. Now this one I can make it into a fraction, 10 over 1. That means I can cancel this 0. See that? What left? 2 times 1, which is 2. 1 times 1, which is 1. I'm using the double arrow method, which is A. Okay? So 2 over 1 is what? Is 2. So A equals to 2. That means 20% of the 10 apples is 2 apples. So the 2 apples are rotten. Does that make sense? Alright? So by using this aeroplane method. So that's how you do. Let's do another one, alright? That's okay. If you still didn't get it, doesn't matter. We'll do more. I want to make sure you understand. Now this is just kind of icebreaker, okay? Let's do another one. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll talk more about this. Okay? I'll be back with you. Alright, my dear student. Now we're still in the first scenario. The first scenario we're dealing with is when I've given you the whole, okay, let's say for example the 100%. In other words, if I had this time I told you I have 20 apples. Let's just use apples again. 20 apples. And I told you 75% of the apples are red apples. Alright? In other words, you see there's a green apples, red apples, okay? And then the 25% are green apples. Alright? So I got 100 apples. Out of the 100 apples, 75% of them are red apples. And I ask you to find how many of them are red apples. I want to know the number. If the 75% represent how many apples out of the 20 apples. See that? Okay, so we're going to use the aeroplane method. Alright, so what's the aeroplane method is? Equal sign and then a 2 line like that, like the wing. See the 2 wings? That equal sign. Alright, now we're looking for what? The number of apples that 75% makes. Okay, the number of red apples that 75% makes. Okay, so that means we're going to say 75%. We don't know how many apples 75%. So we assign a letter. We can put any letters. We can put B. Alright, we can put a B. So 75% is B. We don't know. That's why we're looking for B. But we know 100% is how many apples? 20, because I told you I have 20 apples in my hand. And I told you out of the 20 apples in my hand, 75% are red apples. Okay, so I know 100% it's 20 apples. See that? See, I put all the percent on the one side, the number of apples on the other side. Even though we don't know what's B yet, because that's going to be the number of apples, the number. See that? Percentage on this side. Okay? Okay, good. So now I'm looking for B. So I have to solve for B. But in order for me to find B, I have to get rid of 20. I've got to remove 20. But what's 20 is doing towards B? It's dividing. So Max's first law says what? Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. That's the bridge. So we're going to move this one across the bridge. It's dividing. So division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. Okay? So remember this. Max's first law. Addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction. Subtraction cross the bridge becomes addition. multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. We're going to use this one right there. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. Alright, so we're going to move this 20, which is dividing, across the bridge. So that'll become 75% over 100% times 20 equals to B. Division, multiplication. So it's dividing becomes multiplication. Alright, now I'm going to simplify. Alright, I'm going to simplify. Cross the percentage. See, there's a 0 there. This is going to be 20 over 1. Alright, I'm going to put it in the form of fraction because this is a fraction. I'll keep this also in fraction. So that means I can cancel the 0 and 0, and I can divide this by 5 and divide this by 5. Or I can divide this by 2 and divide this by 2. See that? Remember the bow tie method? So I can simplify this way, or this way, or this way. Now there's nothing to simplify this way, but there is a way to simplify this way. We cancel the 0 first. But we can also simplify more. 2 and 10. We can divide this by 2, we can divide this by 2. Okay, so I divide this by 2, I divide this by 2. That gives me, let me rewrite, 75 over 10 divided by 2 is 5. 2 divided by 2 is 1 over 1. But look at this, I can divide this way now. I can divide this by 5, I can divide this by 5. So 75 divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. But this one's outside our timetable range, so we can use the long division method, okay? So now let's rewrite, make sure we put the B back in there. So 75 divided by 5, so I'm going to put use the cage approach. 75 is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'm going to put inside the cage. 5 is kind of out, I'll put outside the cage. In 7 there's 75, 1. 1 times 5, 5. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring the 5 down, becomes 25. In 25 there's 75, 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. Minus gives me 0. So that this one becomes 15. So 15 over 1 times 1 over 1 equals to B. 15 times 1 is 15. 1 times 1 is 1. We use the double arrow method. Equals to B. So 15 over 1 is 15. Now remember, this one I can also rewrite as a B equals to 15 over 1. It's acceptable. Alright? I can rewrite like this. So B equals to 15. So 75% of the 20 apple is 15 apples. That means the 15 apples are red and 5 apples are green. See that? So 75% of 20 apples are 15 apples. Does that make sense? Alright? So this is how you do it. So let's do one more, alright? Mr. Mac's going to erase the board and we're still in the first scenario, okay? We're finding the number of apples. If I give you the total number of apples and asking you and tell you to find the percentage of the apples, alright? Okay? Alright, let me erase the board and then we'll do another problem. Alright? I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright, okay? Now let's do another problem. Okay, let's say for example, I told you in a school there are 360 students. And I told you 60% of the students are male or boys, okay? So 360 students, alright? So the 360 student makes how many percent? The whole 100%. And I told you the 60% of the students are boys. And I want to find out how many boys in that school. Alright? So, in other words, I told you that there are 360 students total, alright? 360 students. And I want to find out the 60% of the students, of the 360 students, alright, 60% of the 360 students are boys. And we want to find out, so how many boys are there in that school. Okay? So we want to find out how many boys in that school. Alright? So we know 60% of the 360 students are boys. How many boys are there in that school? So what method are we going to use? Exactly, the aeroplane method. So we can put the equal sign and then the two wings. So in other words, this is the body of the aeroplane and the two wings. Okay? Alright. So first, we're looking for 60%. Always the one you're looking for, keep it up. The one that's, you already know the both end, put it on the bottom. That's a denominator. Always keep as a numerator the one that you're looking for, which is 60%. We're looking for 60%. And we want to find out how many students are boys. We're going to put a B, a variable, okay? B. And we know that 100%, how many students? That's the total number, boys and girls, which is what? 100%. So 100%, okay? So the 100% is the total students, all right, including boys and girls, all right? That is 360. Okay, 360. And we're looking for B. B is the 60%, which is the number of the boys in that school. So we're looking for the number of boys in that school, which is 60%, all right? So we're looking for B. So in order for me to find B, what I have to do? I have to remove 360. And what's 360 doing towards B? It's dividing. It's dividing. So division across the bridge becomes multiplication. That means I'm going to move this 360 across the bridge and it will turn into a multiplication. So let me rewrite that. 60% over 100%. This cross the bridge becomes times 360, which equals to B. When this is gone, left is B. Now I'm going to simplify this. Okay? Percent cancels out. See this 0, I can cancel with that 0 because this is 36 over 1. So I can cancel this 0 and that 0. I can cancel this 0 with this 0. Alright? With fraction you can do that. Keep in mind, okay? So what left? 6 times 36. So let me rewrite that down again. 6 times 36 over 1 over 1. Now I can use the double arrow method. 6 times 36, it's outside our timetable range. We're going to use the long multiplication. 36 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 carry 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 3 is 21. So that gives me 216. 1 times 1 is 1, which is 216. That is B. So the total number of boys in that school is 216 out of the 360. See that? And that is 60%. That is the 60%. Does that make sense? Alright? Okay, good. So now you understand, alright? Now let's review, okay? I've been told 60% of the 360 students of a school, alright? We didn't mention that yet, but just remember, we kind of talked about it. Of a school are boys. That means that 360 has a boys and girls in it, alright? 60% makes boys and 40% makes it girls. That 100% is the 360%. But we want to find out the 60% out of the 360. So in other words, this one is 60% plus 40%. That's what 360 makes. So I want to find out that the 60 makes what portion of the 360? The 60%. And that's why we use this to find it. Are boys. How many boys are there in that school? Alright, so we set it up with using the aeroplane method. Okay, that's the body of the aeroplane and this is the wing. Okay, so first you take the one is given or the one you're looking for should be. So let's say we take the one you're looking for, 60%. We're looking for 60%. Always keep it on the top as a numerator, 60%. And you don't know, give a variable to that. And you know 360, which is what? 100%. So you put 100%, and 360. See that? You categorize them properly. Very important. The percentage one side, the numbers one side. If this is 100%, same level. That's 360. 60%, that's what you're looking for. Same level. Don't mix it up. Alright? Once you understand this, how to set up, you'll never make a mistake. No matter what type of question I ask you, something related to this scenario, you will get the answer right. Okay? Okay, good. So 60% over 100% equals to B over 360. That's what we got right there. And I'm looking for B. And that means I have to remove 360. 360 got to go. And what is 360 doing towards B? It's dividing. From Max's first law, division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. So it's going to cross the bridge, okay? So it becomes multiplication. So I rewrote 60% over 100% times 360 equals to B. The moment is gone, only left is B. So now I just solved this, that will tell me what B is. Percent cancels out. The 100 got 2 zeros. I can take 1 zero out of the 360, cancelled out, and 1 zero I cancelled out with 60. So left is 6 and 36. And left here is 1 and 1. I use the double arrow method. 6 times 36, 216. Right there. 1 times 1 is 1. 216 over 1 is 216. And that's what we're looking for, B. That is the total number of boys in that school. Okay? Alright, good. Well, how about we raise the board? Let's do this. With each scenario, let's do hands-on practice. That's the best way to learn. Alright? So Mr. Max is going to have 2 problems set up, and you pause the video. We're not going to call Pablo, alright? We're going to give Pablo a break. I'll write the question on the board. You pause the video, you solve it, and then you come back. Mr. Mac will work together with you. Alright? I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Hello, my dear students. Hold on for a moment. Let's not go to the hands-on practice yet. I got something I want to do with you. An experiment. Alright? Okay. Mr. Mac went to the market and bought a bag full of potatoes. Look at that. And there are 16 of them. Okay? So let Mr. Mac pull this table here. I'm going to pull this table over here. Okay? So I'm going to put the potatoes right up here. Alright? So there are 16 pieces, alright, of potatoes. Alright? So that means this one bag makes how many percent? 100%. It's kind of like a pizza. One whole pizza makes 100%. So in this case, it's a 100%. Okay, like a one whole pizza got 16 pieces I cut into the pizza. Kind of that's the same idea. No, 16 pieces of potatoes. All right, good. Now I want to find out 25% of the potatoes will make how many potatoes? See that 25% of okay, so in other words, I want to find out 25% of 16 potatoes. Okay, I want to see how many of them. 16 potatoes. So 25%. So in this case, I will never know what the number is. Am I right? So we have to calculate out. But first, let's count them. How many potatoes are there? Let's make sure 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, okay, 16, right? Alright, 16 potatoes, okay? So that makes 16 potatoes. Now we want to find out 25% of 16 will make how many potatoes. Alright, so let's do that. So what method we're going to use? The aeroplane method. Very good. You are doing very good. So you should be ready for your hands-on practice. Alright, okay, so we're going to do the aeroplane method. We're going to put the 2 wings there. Alright, so now what's our first step ought to be? We know that the 16 potatoes makes how many percent? 100%. Okay, so we're going to keep one side the percentage, one side the number. So we're going to keep this side always the percentage and this side the number. Always put the one that you already know as a denominator. In this case, I already know the 100% makes 16. Okay, never put the variable on the bottom. Always put the numbers that you already know. In this case, 100%, 16 on the bottom. All right. So we're looking for 25%. So 25%. But we don't know how many numbers of potatoes makes 25%. So we're going to give a variable, unknown. Alright, unknown, a variable. So that way we're looking for P. We're looking for P. We want to find out what is P. What is the number of potatoes that makes 25%. Alright? So if I'm looking for P, that means I'm isolating P. So who got to go? 16. What 16 is doing to P? It's dividing. So from Max's first law, what does it say? Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. See, division becomes multiplication. All right. So 25% over 100%. So we're going to multiply that with 16, and that gives me P. All right, I'm looking for P. All right, so 16 over 1. I'm going to put it as a form of fraction because we got a fraction here. We're going to keep it as a fraction. We're going to be multiplying. All right, so we're going to simplify first before we use the double arrow method. All right, look at it, 25 and 100. I can divide this by 25, and I can divide this by 25. But before I do that, Mr. Mac should do what first? Cancel the percentage. That means percentage is out of the way. Okay, so now I divide 25 divided by 25, 100 divided by 25. So we know that 25 divided by 25 is going to give me 1. 100 divided by 4 from 100 divided by 25, I kind of said 4, isn't it? 100 divided by 25 is going to give me 4, alright? Because we knew from earlier that we've already calculated out. If 100, we divide that by 25, will give us 4. Or otherwise, use the long division method. The 100 is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'm going to put it inside the cage. 25 is kind of out from Mr. Mac, I'm going to put outside the cage. Then you can use the trial and error method, okay? And you can try, say, okay, 4. 4, in this case, will give you 100. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. See that? There you go. So 100. Okay, 4. Alright, so now we got times 16 over 1. Now look at that. I can simplify more. 4 and 16. I can divide this by 4. I can divide this by 4. Now remember from the bow tie method. All right, that means I can simplify this way, I can simplify this way, I can simplify this way, I can simplify this way. See that? This way, this way, this way, and this way. All right, so I did simplify this way, gave me 1 over 4. Now I'm simplifying this way. So 4 divided by 4 also will give me 1. 16 divided by 4 will give me 4 over 1. All right, so I'm going to use the double arrow method. That gives me 4 over 1. So that means P equals to 4. So 25% of 16 potatoes is 4 potatoes. Alright? Okay, so that means 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 25%. Now look at that. If this is 25%, now let me put another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another 25%. That makes what? 50%. Let's put another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another 25. That makes it 75%. So let's put the final 4 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes it 25. So 25 plus 25 makes 50, plus another 25 makes 75, and plus another 25 makes 100. So that makes 100%. See that? Makes sense? Alright, good. I'm so glad that you understand this. Okay, that means you should be ready for your hands-on practice. Okay, good. Alright, give us the back few seconds. I'll put this away and I'll be back, and then we'll do some hands-on practice. Okay? I'll see you in a few seconds. Hello, my dear students. I got a few problems on the board, and I'm going to step out. Go ahead, pause the video and have fun with it, okay? Do it, alright? Do it, give your best. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to work together, alright? Here it is. Have fun. How was it? It's not bad, isn't it? Okay, let's do it together, okay? The first one. Find the value which given is 30% of 120 students. Let's understand this question. Find the value of. That means I want to find out if the number of students which makes 30%. See, 30% of 120 students. 30% of 120 students. That 120 students is how many percent? 100%. That's the total. See that? And you want to extract 30% out of the 120. And you want to know what is that number? The number 120, the 30% from the 120. What is the number out of the 120 that makes 30%? So what method we're going to use? The aeroplane method, okay? We're going to put equal sign and then the two wings right there. Alright? First, we're looking for 30%. We're going to put it right on the top. 30% is what we're looking for. Okay? And then we're going to assign a variable. Let's give anything. You can give anything. Let's say you can use a M. M. Doesn't matter, okay? And then we know that 120 students is how many percent? 100%. So we're going to put 100%. And that makes it 120 students. And we're looking for M. That means the 30% of that 120, M. So in order for me to find M, what I have to do to the 120? I have to move it to the other side, cross the bridge, okay? So what is 120 is doing towards M? It's dividing. So division across the bridge becomes multiplication. Always remember that. Division and multiplication, vice versa. Cross the bridge becomes division. Division across the bridge becomes multiplication. Multiplication across the bridge becomes division. They both, okay? Addition and subtraction, they are opposite each other. Plus addition across the bridge becomes subtraction. Subtraction across the bridge becomes addition. So remember that way. So in this case, division. Division across the bridge becomes multiplication. 30% over 100% times 120, okay, which is equals to M. You can write that way. All right, M equals to 30% over 100% times 120. Okay, now you can even leave it M here too, doesn't matter. You can move it up. All right, doesn't matter, it's still the same. So now first step is we're going to get rid of this percentage. Now look at that, 120, I can express that over 1 as a fraction. Now I can simplify. How? By cancelling the zeros. See, I can cancel the first 0 with 120, which has a 0. That 0 is gone. The second 0 for 100 with that 0. That one is gone. See that? So now left is what? 3 times 12. So we're going to use the double arrow method. Alright? So M equals to 3 times 12 over 1 times 1. Which is 3 times 12 is what? 36 over 1, which is 36. M equals to 36. So 30% of 120 student is 36 students. So 36 students makes 30%. Alright? 36 students makes 30%. Alright? Okay, good. So 30% makes 36 students. Alright? Okay, good. Let's look at the second one. B. 25% of 240 chickens. So let's understand, 25% of the 240 chickens. The 240 is how many percent? 100%. The whole, let's say it's, in a chicken coop, there are 240 chickens. And I want to take 25% out of that. That's what I'm looking for. How many would that be? I need to know the number, am I right? I can't just go there and say, I want 25%. But I don't know what the number, because I got to find the number. In order for me to take 25% out, the farmer says, you can have 25% of my chickens. And he has what? 240 chickens. So in order for me to take 25% out of the 240, I need to know the numbers. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in order to take them out. Alright? That's how we're going to solve it. Okay, what method we're going to use? The aeroplane method. Equal sign with the two tails. The wings, these are the wings. Alright, and that's the body. Okay, and we're looking for what? 25%. So I'm going to put 25%, and I'm going to give a variable. I'm just going to put C. Doesn't matter, any variable, okay? Just to represent, because we don't know this. This is unknown. So we just give a unknown, something, a variable, okay? A letter to it, okay? And I know 100%, it's how many chickens? 240 chickens. I'm going to put 240 chickens right there. See that? See, I kept the percentage one side, the numbers one side. Alright? And I'm looking for what? C, the number of chickens that makes 25%. So I have to move 240. In order to find C, 240 got to go. It's dividing. Division cross the bridge, multiplication. So 25% over 100% times 240. See that? Which equals to C. I can put the C over here. Alright? C. Or which is your same thing. See that? I can bring it over here, express it that way. Doesn't matter. Alright? Same thing. So now I simplify this. Look at that. 0. First I cancel out the percentage. 0, 0 cancels out. See that? Now I can divide this by 25 by 5. I can divide this by 5. See that? They both can be divided by 5. So I can divide this by 5. I can divide this by 5. So that gives me 25 divided by 5 is what? 5. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Times 24 over 1. Okay, I forgot to put a 1 over here. Over 1. Okay, we got to keep it in fraction. Alright? I can simplify between this way. 2 and 24. I can divide this by 2. I can divide this by 2. So that gives me 5 over 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 24 divided by 2 is 12 over 1. Okay? Can I simplify any further? No. Can I simplify this way? No, never. Okay? Only diagonal or vertical, not horizontal. Okay? But I'm going to times it with the double arrow method horizontally. Okay? So 5 times 12 is 60. 1 times 1 is 1. That makes it 60. 60 over 1 is 60. So that is C, which is what? Chickens. 60 chickens. So 25% of the 240 is 60 chickens. When the farmer told me, you can have 25% of my chickens. So he has 240 chickens. That means I can take how many chickens out of that 240? 60 chickens. Now I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah 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 up to 60. Boom! I got 60 chickens. I can go. Alright? Because if I had to just go there and try to get 25%, I don't know the number. What makes 25% of that 240? 25% of the 240 chickens. Okay, good. Alright. Alright, we got this to solve. Now the second problem, alright? Alright, this one, see, the same thing, this one is kind of elaborated in a form of a day-to-day application. Like look at that. Ahmad has a saving of 4,800 ringgits, alright? He uses 40% of his saving. So he uses 40% of his saving to pay down payment for a purchase of a car. How much is the down payment? See that? I put it in a form of a word, in a word problem. I just elaborate that. In other words, I could have just wrote this way. 40% of 4,800. What? Find the value of 40% of 4,800. See, I could take all this out right there. I took this and put it in a form of a word. Like this one, I can do the same thing too. A farmer, okay, a farmer who has 240 chickens, and he gave me 25% of the chickens. So how many are the chickens that I'm taking with me? See that? See? I elaborate that. Alright? In a school, there are 120 students. 30% of the students took a vacation. Alright? Took a vacation or took a field trip. How many students took the field trips? Field trip. See that? So I elaborated that. Just that's how I pretty much did. I elaborated this question. Ahmad has a saving of 4,800 ringgit. He uses 40% of his saving, because this is the saving. He uses 40% out of that to pay the down payment, okay, for a purchase of a car. How much is the down payment? That is the 40% of that. Alright? Okay, let me erase this so we can do this second problem. Give me a few seconds, I'll be back. All right, my dear students. Okay, good. So we understood that Ahmad has a saving of 4,800 ringgits. He uses 40% of his saving to pay down payment for a purchase of a car. How much is the down payment? Okay, so we know. So what method we're going to use? We're going to use the aeroplane method. Okay, aeroplane with the wings. Okay, both sides of the wings. So first, we're looking for what? 40%. 40%. So we're going to assign a variable. What is the 40%? All right. So we're going to give an assignment. Let's say D for the down payment. All right. Okay. And we know that 4,800 is how many percent? 100%. Okay. We know 100%. That's his saving, which is 4,800. And we're looking for what? D. We're looking for D. So now that for me to find D, what I got to do to 4,800? I got to take it across the bridge, all right, across the equal sign. Equal sign, I say that as like a bridge, okay? So we're going to take it across the bridge so that I can have D by itself. That means 40% over 100% times 4,800. See that? Now I'm going to simplify. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of this percentage. Percentage is gone. All right? Now look at that. 1, 2, 1, 2. There's a 2 zeros, 2 zeros. I can cancel. 1, okay? And then 1. 1, 1. See that? The zeros are gone. So pretty much the denominator became 1. I can express, I have to put that as a fraction, okay? Over 1. All right? Okay, good. So now let me rewrite that. 40 over 1 times 48 over 1 after I simplified, and I'm going to use the double arrow method. So 40 times 48, 1 times 1. See that? 40 times 48, I have to use the long multiplication method. So I'm going to put 48 times 40, line them up. 0 times 8 is 0, 4 times 0 is 0. Then 4, I'm going to start right here. 4 times 8 is 32. So 2, 3. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 3 is 19. Then I'm going to add them. 0, 2, 9, 1. So that gives me 1,920 over 1. So D, the D is the down payment, equals to 1,920. And that's the ringgit. Okay, so my answer should be RM 1,920 ringgits. So I'm going to, so Ahmad pays 1,920 ringgits as a down payment for a purchase of a car. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Alright, keep in mind, use this aeroplane method. Once you set up this aeroplane method, understand how to extract the information that was given to you in order to be able to set up with that. Alright? Make sure, find out which one is 100%. And then once you know the 100%, put it out there. And what are you looking for? 40%. And you're looking for the number that represents the 40%. The one that, always remember, the one you're looking for, the unknown, keep it as a numerator. Don't keep it as a denominator, alright? Keep it as a numerator. Okay? Good. Alright. Well, let's go to the second scenario. Okay? So Mr. Max is going to erase the board, and I'll be back, and we'll talk about the second scenario dealing with solving problems involving percentage. Okay? I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, let's talk about second scenario. Alright, in the second scenario, we're going to use the same thing, the apples. So I got 10 apples, alright? And I took 4 apples out. The 4 apples are rotten. I took them out, I threw them away. What is the percentage of the rotten apples? See that? This time I'm finding the percentage. The first scenario was, I told you I got 10 apples, and I told you 20% of the apples were rotten. And I want to know the number. Okay, the number. This time, I gave you 10 apples, the whole, which is 100%, and I told you I took 4. 4 of them are rotten. I took 4 and threw it away. 4. And I want to know what is the percentage of apples that's rotten. Okay, so let's write that down. Okay, so how many apples in my basket? Let's say it was in the basket. Okay, so basket, there were 10 apples. All right? And how many is rotten? 4 apples. So, what is the percentage of the rotten apples? So this time we're looking for percentage. Okay, I gave you the number of apples that in the basket, the total number of apples, and 4 of them were rotten. 4 of them were rotten. And I need to know what is the percentage of the rotten apples. Okay, so what method we're going to use? The aeroplane method. Okay, so we're going to use the aeroplane method. So we're looking for the percentage of the rotten apples. So we're going to keep that as a numerator. All right, so we know 4 apples, okay, are rotten. So we want to know what is A. What is the percentage? And you know that 100%, see, this time I put the 100% this side and I keep the numbers this side. Doesn't matter, you can keep the either way, it's fine too. Okay, so let's see if we want to stay consistent. Okay, let's do that. All right, let's stay consistent. All right, so let's stay consistent. Okay, all right, we keep the percentage this side. Okay, so in this type I'm looking for percent. I'm going to assign as an A, and first we're going to put this aeroplane thing. Okay, aeroplane method. So that A is the percentage I'm looking for, and which is how many apples? 4 apples. And I know 100% makes how many apples? Which is what? 10 apples. That is the 100%. So I'm going to put 10 apples. So always remember, keep the percentage one side, the numbers one side, and they must be also lined up properly. 100%, 10 apples. The percentage that I'm looking for the 4 apples is A, right there. All right, so I'm looking for A. So in order for me to find A, I have to keep A by itself. But who's holding A right now? 100%. And what's the 100% doing to A? It's dividing. So division cross the bridge should be multiplication. All right, so I'm going to say A equals to 4 over 10. So the division cross the bridge becomes multiply by 100%. See that? And then I'm going to put over 1. So now I can simplify it. With the 0 and 0 cancels out. But there is no percentage for me to cancel out because we want in a form of percentage. That's why the answer is going to be in a form of percentage. So 4 times 10 is 40%. 1 times 1 is over 1, which is equals to 40%. So the 4 apples that are rotten makes 40% of the 10 apples. See that? 40%. See how the second scenario works? We're looking for percentage this time. This time I gave you the total number of apples and how many apples are rotten. Earlier, the first scenario, I gave you the total number of apples and I gave you the percentage of rotten apples. I didn't tell you the number of rotten apples. I give you the percentage and ask you to find the number. If I told you the percentage, so what is the number of apples was rotten? But in this case, I gave you the total apples in the basket and the number of apples that were rotten. And I want you to tell me what is the percentage of apples that were rotten. So in this case is 40%. So 40%, which is the 4 apples out of the 10 apples that were rotten. All right? Okay, good. So in other words, I could have wrote this way. What is the percentage of, and then I can put it that, okay, 4 apples of 10 apples. So what is the percentage of 4 apples of 10 apples? When I said of 10 apples, you know that's going to be 100%. 4 apples of 10 apples. Pretty much same thing, and you express that. All right, so let's do another one. Let's say if I had to ask you, so what is the percentage of, let's say this is A, we did that, okay? Let's say B, okay? And I told you 25 chickens of 200 chickens. So I want to find out what is the percentage of 25 chickens of 200 chickens. Okay, so 200 chickens. First, let's understand. 200 makes how many percent? How many percent? 100%, because that's 100 chickens in that coop. And I want to find out if I were to take 25 chickens out. So I need to know what is the percentage of chicken that I took it out of the coop. So what method am I going to use again? The aeroplane method, okay? So I'm going to put the aeroplane, that's the wing, okay? And that's the body of the aeroplane. We're looking for 25%. 25 chickens. We want to find the percentage for 25 chickens, okay? So we're going to keep the C, that's the percentage we're looking for, all right? Which is what? 25 chicken. 100%, we're going to put right here. How many chickens? 200 chickens. And you're looking for what? C, the percentage of the 25 chickens out of the 200 chickens. So 100% got to go. What is 100% doing to C? It's dividing. Cross the bridge, so it becomes multiplication. So okay, so I'm going to bring that across. So it becomes C equals to 25 over 200 times 100. Okay? What do I do next? I simplify, okay? First I put this over 1. So 0, 0, 0, 0. I cancel out. Okay? So now you got 25 over 2 times 1 over 1. So in other words, pretty much 25 over 2 times 1 over 1. Double arrow method. So that gives me 25 over 2. Let's not forget the percentage, okay? The percentage. Because when I brought this over, the percentage should be there. So the percentage right there. So 25 times 1% gives me 25% over 2. I use the arrow down method and solve this, okay? Divide. So 25% divided by 2. So I'm going to use the division, alright? Long division. So I use the arrow down method, 25 divided by 2, so which is also means 25% divided by 2, okay? So I'm going to use the arrow down method, okay? So let's use the cage approach, okay? So 25 goes inside the cage because it's kind of into Mr. Mac, and 2 goes outside, kind of out from Mr. Mac. In 2 there's how many? 2, 1. 1 times 2 is 2, minus give me 0. I bring the 5 down. In 5 there's how many? 2. 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. And then put a decimal, 0. Bring the 0 down. In 10 there's how many? 2. 5. I put the decimal up, 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Minus gives me 0. So that tells me 12.5%. 12.5%. 12.5%. So 25 chickens of 200 chickens makes 12.5%. See that? Okay? Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Alright? Make sure you understand this. Okay, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board. Let's do one more problem, okay? Let's do one more problem. So that way I want you to understand this scenario before we move forward with the hands-on practice, okay? And I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright, my students, Pablo kind of talked me into it. He said, Mr. Mac, our students are ready for some hands-on practice. Well, hold on. Before we go to hands-on practice, Mr. Max, I want to do another experiment, okay? Now this time we want to do an experiment on scenario 2, all right? In scenario 2, okay, so Mr. Max is going to bring the potatoes back from the first scenario, all right? Here it is. So Mr. Mac here got 16 potatoes, all right? So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, all right? Oh, Mr. Mac dropped that one, all right. Okay, there it is. We got 16 potatoes. So that makes how many percent? 100%. So Mr. Mac got 100% of potatoes, which is makes 16 potatoes, all right? So now the second scenario is we want to take 8 potatoes out of the bag. Okay, so I want to take 8 potatoes out of the bag, and I want to find out what is the percentage of the potatoes that I took out. Okay, so we're going to take 8 potatoes out. All right, let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I took 8 potatoes. But now I want to know, if I took 8 potatoes out, what is the percentage of potatoes that I took out? So how do we find that? So what method we're going to use? Exactly, we're going to use the aeroplane method. Okay, so in other words, if I say 8 out of 16, so that's the question, 8 out of the 16 potatoes, all right? So in order for me to solve this, I'm going to use the aeroplane method, okay? The body of the aeroplane with the 2 wings. So on this side, I'm always going to keep the percentage. On this side, I'm going to keep the numbers, all right? So we know that 100% is how many potatoes? Which is a 16. So that's the whole thing, 100%, all right? We got 16. Now this time, we know the number of potatoes, but we're looking for the percentage. Exactly, we're looking for the P, the percentage, okay? So I'm just going to take this one out, okay? Let's put P, all right? So we're looking for the percentage. 8 potatoes out of the 16 makes how many percent? That's what we're looking for, all right? So what do? I'm looking for P. In other words, I want to isolate P. If I want to isolate P, who got to go? 100%, exactly, 100% got to go. And what's 100% doing towards P? It's dividing. If it's dividing, if it's crossed the bridge, it becomes multiplication. That's from Max's first law, okay? So we're going to take that one across the bridge, okay? So that means P equals to 8 over 16 times 100%. All right, so whenever you have a fraction, always put over 1. So keep that as a fraction, all right? So let's go simplify. Now look at that, we can simplify this way. I can divide this by 8, okay? I can divide this by 8, I can divide this by 8. What that happens? 8 divided by 8 is 1, 16 divided by 8 is 2, okay? Times 100% over 1. Now look at this, I can simplify by this way. I can divide this by 2, I can divide this by 2. So that makes 1 over 2 divided by 2 is 1, 100 divided by 2 is 50. Then put the percentage, okay, over 1. So now I can use the double arrow method to multiply them out. So 1 times 50% is 50%, and 1 times 1 is 1. So P equals to 50%. Okay, so that means, what tells you? The 8 potatoes that I took it out from the bag, it makes 50%. That means, what's the other 50%? So if 50, 50, so got to be 8 and 8, isn't it? Let's see if this one is also 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and ta-da! 8! See that? So it does makes 50%. So 50 makes 100%. So 8 potatoes makes 50% out of the 16. See that? Make sense? Alright, good. So now you should be ready for your hands-on practice. Alright? So give us the next few seconds and I will put all this away and I'll be back and we'll do the hands-on practice. Okay? I'll see you in a few seconds. Go ahead, give them the hands-on practice so they can start working on it. All right, okay, I decided to do that, okay? So rather than practicing another problem, Mr. Max is just going to give you a hands-on practice, okay? I'm just going to step out, go ahead, pause the video, okay? And then have fun with it, and then I'll come back, we'll work together. All right, here it is, have fun with it. How was it? Pretty easy, isn't it? If you use the airplane method and extract the information that you needed to plug into the airplane method, you will never have any problems. All right, let's do it together. Okay, the first one, calculate the percentages. Okay, we're going to calculate the percentages. 5 kilogram out of 20 kilogram. So we got 20 kilogram. How many percent is 20 kilogram? 100%. And we're going to take the 5 kilograms out, and we want to know what is the percentage of that 5 kilogram. I took it out of that 20. See that? All right, so we're going to put the airplane method. So we're going to put the 2 wings right there. All right, so first we're looking for what? The 5 kilogram, the percentage of the 5 kilogram. Okay, so we're going to just give a variable for that. Let's just put K, and then we know that's a 5 kilogram. All right, and then we know that 100%. This side we're going to put percentage. This side we're going to keep the numbers. All right, so we're looking for the K percent of the 5 kilograms, and we know that 20 kilograms makes how many percent? 100%. So we're going to put 100% right here, and then that's 20 kilograms. All right, and we're looking for K percent. So we're looking for K. If I'm looking for K, what I have to do what am I supposed to do? I have to isolate K. That means I got to take anything surrounded, anything that's holding K across the bridge. So in this case, 100% is holding K in a form of division, dividing it. Okay, so I have to take the 100%, take it across the bridge. So when I take the 100%, which is dividing across the bridge, it becomes multiplication. So K equals to 5 over 20 times 100%. See that? Then I'm going to put this as a over 1. So as a fraction. Now what do I do next? Simplify. Alright, so I'm going to cancel the 0 and 0. I can divide 2 by 2. I can divide 10 by 2. Alright, so I'm going to divide this by 2. I'm going to divide this by 2. So that gives me 5 over 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5 over 1. Make sure you put the percentage. Okay, so 5 times 5% is 25%. So that gives me 25% over 1, which is 25%. So 5 kilogram out of the 20 kilogram is 25%. The percentage of the 5 kilogram out of the 20 kilogram is 25%. Alright, it's pretty easy, isn't it? Once setting up this aeroplane method and plugging in those information in there, that's it. And then solving it using Max's first law by moving the 100%, which is dividing across the bridge, becomes multiplication, and rest of it is arithmetic. Okay, alright, that's problem 1A. Okay, alright, okay, our first step ought to be, we put the aeroplane, okay, the model. Alright, so now I'm going to extract the information. So I got 120 cars out of 600 cars. So that means I'm looking for the percentage for 120 cars. So I'm going to put C is the percentage that I'm looking for, 120 cars. And 100% is how many cars? 600 cars. So 600 cars makes 100%. So I'm going to put 600, 100%. And I'm looking for C percent. The percent of 120. I'm looking for C. In order to find C, what I have to do to 100%? I have to remove it. I have to take it across the bridge. So I'm trying to isolate C. So 100% is dividing C. So that means I have to use the Max's first law. The division across the bridge becomes multiplication. Okay. So I'm going to say C equals to 120 over 600 times 100%. Okay? Then what do I do next? I simplify. I can cancel the 0. I can cancel the 0. Alright? Now 120 and 6. I can divide this by 6. I can divide this by 6. So I'm going to divide this by 6. I'm going to divide this by 6. So 120 divided by 6. I'm going to use the long division method using the cage approach. The 120 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. And the 6 is the outside, kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. I go to the next one, which is 12. 12 and how many 6? 2. 2 times 6 is 12. Minus gives me 0. Now since I got 1 0 left on the back, that means I just bring it up. So that becomes 20. So 20 over 6 divided by 6 is 1 times 1 over 1. Okay, we just put this as 1 over 1. And then I use the double arrow method. I'll make sure you put this as a percentage. So 20 times 1% gives me 20%. 1 times 1 equals to 1. So C equals to 20 over 1 is 20. So 20%. So that means 120 cars out of the 600 cars is 20%. That's what that means. See that? Very straightforward. The key is setting up this model. Alright? Once you set up this model, the aeroplane model, and then you just extract the information. They're asking to find the percentage for 120 cars, which is out of the 600 cars, which is 100%. So I plug it in. I know 600 is 100%. See the 100%? 600. And I'm looking for percentage for 120 cars. So I put 120 cars here. This percentage that I'm looking for, I put a variable for C. And I'm solving for C. C, I have to be isolate. 100% is dividing C. So I have to cross, I have to remove it. I have to isolate C, not to isolate C. 100% got to cross the bridge, which dividing becomes multiplication. That's from Max's first law, okay? So when 100% cross the bridge become multiplication, I put 100% over 1. Then I simplify. I cancel the 0, cancel the 0, cancel the 0. See that? And then I got 120 over 6. I can divide 120 by 6 and I can divide 6 by 6. So 120 divided by 6 gives me 20. 6 divided by 6 gave me 1. Since I already cancelled the 0, left is 1%. So I use the double arrow method. 20 times 1% gives me 20%. 1 times 1 give me 1. So 20% over 1, it's 20%. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. Well, let me, Mr. Mac, erase the board and we'll do problem number 2. And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my students, problem 2 in a form of a word problem. Look at that. In a school, there are 240 students. 30 of the students are exchange students. Find the percentage of the exchange students in the school. Now, if I had to translate that in the form of that would have been calculate the percentage. 30 students of the 240 students. That's it. Same thing, but I put it in a more of a word problem. I elaborate. Okay? So in other words, if I had to put in this form would be 30 students out of 240 students. That's it. But look, I kind of make it look like a day-to-day kind of explanation kind of words I used. You know, in a school there are 240 students. 30 of the students are exchange students. Find the percentage of the exchange students in the school. Alright? So, okay, what method we're going to use? The aeroplane method. Okay, so we're going to put the equal sign and the 2 wings. Alright, right there. Alright, first let's extract the information. What are we looking for? The percentage for 30 students. Alright, so we don't know the percentage, so we're going to give a variable for the percentage. We're just going to give it S, the percentage for 30 students. Okay, we're just going to put 30 right there. Now 100%, how many students? 240 students. So 100%, is 240 students. Okay, so we're going to put the 100% and we're going to put 240 right there. And I'm looking for what? S. Alright, so I have to isolate S. In order for me to isolate S, who got to go? The 100%. And what's 100% doing towards S? It's dividing. So it's dividing. So that means I have to move the 100% across the bridge. If it's dividing, cross the bridge, it becomes multiplication. That's from Max's first law. Okay, Max's first law says division across the bridge becomes multiplication. So S equals to 30 over 240 times 100%. See that? Okay, so now what are we going to do? We're going to simplify. First we're going to put this as over 1. We're going to cancel the 0, cancel the 0. I can divide this by 2, I can divide this by 2. So divide this by 2 gives me 12. Okay, I'm going to divide this by 2, divide this by 2. So that gives me 30 over 24 divided by 2 is 12. 10 divided by 2 is 5%. See that? But now I can also simplify this way. I can divide this by 6. I can divide this by 6. Alright? So I'm going to divide this by 6. I'm going to divide this by 6. So that makes it 30 divided by 6 is 5. 12 divided by 6 is 2 times 5% over 1. Alright? I can't simplify anymore. So I'm going to use the double arrow method. Alright? Double arrow method. 5 times 5% gives me 25%. 2 times 1 is 2. Now you got 25% over 2. I got to use the arrow down method to simplify. Okay? So that means 25% divided by 2. So I'm going to use the long division method. Okay? So I'm going to use the cage approach. I'm going to drop the percentage for right now. I'm just going to put 25 in there because 25 is kind of into Mr. Mac. 2 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. In 2 there's how many 2? 1. 1 times 2 is 2 minus gives me 0. I'll bring the 5 down. In 5 there's how many 2? 2. 2 times 2 is 4 minus 5 minus 4 is 1. I put a decimal. Make sure I put a decimal up there too. Put a 0, bring the 0 down. In 10 there's how many 2? 5. 5 times 2 it's 10 minus gives me 0. So now I put it back the percentage. Okay, so it becomes 12.5%. So 12.5% of the 240 makes 30 students. So the 30 student is 12.5%. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Alright? So make sure, if you think you're still struggling, just go back. That's the beauty about e-learning. Just go back and try to understand what Mr. Max trying to explain it to you. Alright? Okay? And I know you got it. Alright? I know you got it. So that means let's go to the third scenario. Okay? And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now let's talk about the third scenario. The third scenario is, this time I got 6 rotten apples and I know they make 40% out of the total apples. So I need to find out what is the total apples. This time, so let me repeat again, okay? So I got 6 rotten apples. That makes 40% of the total apples. So I want to find out what is the total number of apples. Okay, let's write that down. Okay, so in other words, 6 rotten apples. Okay, so 6 rotten apples, and that makes how many percent? So that makes 40%. I want to find out what is the total. What is the total number of apples? In the basket. So I'm looking for the total number of apples in the basket. So again, we use the same principle, which is what? The aeroplane method. Okay, so we're going to put the equal sign with the 2 wings. Alright, now let's extract the information. I know 6 rotten apples, that makes 40%. So we always decided to keep the percentage here, number on this side. Okay, so I know 40% is 6 apples. Okay, remember I told you the one that we don't know, we're going to keep it up, alright, as a numerator. The one we know on both sides, always denominator. So this time, we're going to keep this one as a denominator because we know 40% is 6 apples. And they want to know what is the total number of apples in the basket. That means how many percent is that? 100%. The 100% inside the basket is the total number of apples, but we don't know. So we know 100%, okay? But we don't know the number of apples, the total number of apples in the basket. So we're looking for A. See that? So in order for me to find A, I have to do what? I have to isolate A. So what is holding A right now? 6. And what is 6 doing to A? It's dividing. So I have to move the 6 across the bridge, which division across the bridge becomes multiplication. Alright? So that makes it 100. Alright? So we're going to bring the 6 across the bridge. Okay? So we're going to be it's going to multiply. Okay? So 100% over 40% times 6 equals to A. Now we're going to put the 6 over 1. We're going to keep it as a fraction. Alright? Now look at that. Percent. We're going to cancel that. So percent goes away. Now I can cancel 0 and 0. So 0 goes away. I can divide 4 by 2, 6 by 2. Okay? So I'm going to divide this by 2. I'm going to divide this by 2. Let me write that down now. So you got 10 over 4 divided by 2 is 2 times 6 divided by 2 is 3 over 1. I can simplify further. Remember, this I can divide this by 2, I can divide this by 2. Okay? So I'm going to divide this by 2, divide this by 2. So that brings it further down to reduce down to 5 over 1 times 3 over 1. See that? Now all these are equals to A. And I'm going to use double arrow method. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay? So that's giving me 15 over 1 times 1 is 1. So A equals to 15. That means there are 15 apples. There were 15 apples in the basket. 6 rotten apples. That's what makes 40%. See that? We found that total apples in the basket were 15. Alright? Pretty easy, isn't it? Now if I had to put this in another format, so I can say, what is the number so if I had to rewrite this question, I can write it this way. 40% of what number is 6? Find the number. Find the number. Okay, so 40% of what number is 6? Okay, so we're finding, so 40% of what number? The what number is the total number. The 40% of the total number is 6. So find the number. So that's same thing as this. Alright? Okay? Okay, let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do a few problems. Alright? Okay, I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, let's do a problem. Okay? Now let's say, for example, if I were to say 40%, okay, if I say 40% of a number is 16, what is the number? So what is the number? Okay, so let's understand. 40% of a number is 16. What is the number? So that means the number is what? It's a total. That means 100%. I'm taking 40%, which makes 16. And I want to know what is that number, the total. Okay? So again, what method we're going to use? The aeroplane method. Okay? So we're going to put the aeroplane with the 2 wings. Alright? So we know that 40% makes how many? 6. That means we're going to put that as a denominator. Remember, the one that we already know, we always keep it as a denominator. So we keep percentage this side, number this side. So we're going to put 40%, which is 16. Alright? And 100% is the number, the total. And we don't know that. Okay? So we're going to put 100% here. And the number that we're looking for, we don't know. So we're going to put n. That's what we're looking for. Alright? So in order for me to find n, which means I'm isolating, I want to isolate n, what I have to do? I have to remove 16. And what 16 is doing towards n? It's dividing. So from Max's first law, if it's division, cross the bridge will becomes multiplication. Okay, so I'm going to bring the 16 across the bridge. So I'm going to rewrite 100% over 40%. So division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. I'm going to put this as a fraction. I'm going to put 16 over 1 equals to n. Now I'm looking for n. Rest of it is what? Arithmetic. I simplify. Okay, cancel the percentage, and then I'm going to cancel the 0, 4 and 16. I can divide this by 4. I can divide this by 4. See that? So I'm going to rewrite 100 over 4 divided by 4 is 1. 16 divided by 4 is 4 over 1. Now I'm going to use the double arrow method. 10 times 4 is 40. 1 times 1 is 1. So n equals to 40. That's the number. So 40% of a number, which is 40% of 40, is 16. See that? Does that make sense? So 40 is the number. That's the total, the 100%. And I'm taking 40% out of that, which makes 16. See that? So let's do a word problem. Okay, let's say for example I tell you 75% of Sam's income is let's say ringgit 2,400. Okay, so 75% of Sam's income is 2,400. What is Sam's income? See that? So pretty much this 75% of a number is 2,400 if I had to express in this form. But this one I put in a form of a word problem. 75% of Sam's income is 2,400. What is Sam's income? Alright, so we're going to use the aeroplane method. Okay, so we're going to use the double wings and then the aeroplane in the middle, right? The body. Okay, so first we know that 75% makes what? 2,400. Okay, so we're going to put right there. 75% is 2,400. And we're looking for the 100%. 100%. So we're going to put 100%, but we don't know the income. Alright, so we're just going to put I. We're going to put I, and we're looking for I. We're going to isolate I. In order for me to isolate I, the 2,400 got to go. All right. So that means I'm going to bring it across the bridge. Okay. So 100% over 75% times, because dividing across the bridge becomes multiplication. 2,400 over 1. I want to put it as a fraction. Okay. Equals to I. Now I'm going to simplify. First, I'm going to cancel out the percentage. Percentage is gone. I can divide 75 with 25 and 100 with 25. So 75 divided by 25 gives me 3. Okay, so I'm going to divide this by 25. I'm going to divide this by 25. So that gives me 100 divided by 25 is 4. 75 divided by 25 is 3. And then I'm going to times it with 2,400 over 1. Now I can divide this by 3. I can divide this by 3. See that? So that makes this one 1. And this one I have to use a long division. Okay. So 2,400. So another way I'm going to use the cage approach. 2,400, which is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'm going to put inside the cage. 3 is kind of out. I'm going to put outside the cage. In 2 I got the next digit. In 24 that's how many 3? 8, because 8 times 3 is 24. Minus gives me 0. Then I bring all the 0 up. There's nothing to divide with. So it becomes 800. So this one becomes 800. Now I use the double arrow method. 4 times 800. So I'm going to use the long multiplication. So 800 times 4. 0. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, so that gives me I equals to 3,200 over 1, which is ringgit 3,200. Right there. And that is the total income for Sam. Does that make sense? Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward, okay? The key thing is understanding the question. 75% of Sam's income is 2,400. That is the 75% of the income, which is 2,400. We're looking for the 100% of the income, which is the total income. That's how we did. We set it up, okay? All right. So 100% is I. We don't know. 75% is 2,400. And then we're looking for I, so we brought the 2,400 across the bridge, becomes multiplication because it's dividing. And then we simplified it. Rest of it is just arithmetic. After you simplified, came to 3,200 ringgits. Alright? Good. Well, let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do some hands-on practice, okay? So I have few problems listed on the board, alright? Give me a few seconds, I'll be back with you. Hello, my dear students. It's not time for hands-on practice yet. You know why? Mr. Max is going to show you another experiment for this third scenario, alright? Okay, let me bring this table up here again. Okay, now let's take this scenario. This time, Mr. Mac doesn't know how many potatoes in this bag. Alright, but we know how many percent. It's 100%, but I don't know how many potatoes in the bag. But I've been told 12 potatoes makes 75%. Alright, so 12 potatoes makes how many percent? 75. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Okay, all right, but I'm not going to count how many left there. Okay, but based on that information, the 12 potatoes make 75%. I want to find out how many potatoes in the bag. What's in the bag? All right, so what are you going to do? All right, so we've been told 75% is 12 potatoes. Okay, so 75% is 12 potatoes. So we want to find out what is the total potatoes in the bag. All right, the total potatoes. So what method we're going to use? Exactly the aeroplane method. Okay, all right. So we know 75% makes how many potatoes? 12 potatoes. See that? So when the information that you already know for both sides, you always put as the denominator. All right. This time we're going to put the 75% and the 12 as a denominator. The 100%, which we don't know the total number of potatoes, so we're going to put it up here. All right, because we're looking for P. The one unknown always put on the top. So parallel to that, so what would that be? 100%. So which is a total. We're looking for the total potatoes. All right, okay. But we are told the 75% potatoes. How many potatoes? 12 potatoes. So 75 is 12 potatoes. Okay. So we're looking for P. In order for me to look for P, that means in other words, I want to isolate P. Who got to go? The 12. And what's 12 doing to P? It's dividing. All right, it's dividing. So if I had to bring the 12 across the bridge, it'll becomes multiplication. So 100% over 75% times 12, okay, equals to P. Now I'm going to put this as a fraction here. I'm going to make this into a fraction, 12 over 1. All right, it's a good habit. All right, now percent cancels out. Now look at this. I can divide this by 25. I can divide this by 25. So we know from previous 100 divided by 25 is what? Is 4. 75 divided by 25 is, very good, is 3. So 3 times 12 over 1. Now look at that. I can simplify this one too. I can divide this by 3. I can divide this by 3. See that? Because we know that using the bow tie method, the bow tie. So you can simplify this way, this way, this way, and this way. All right? As long as simplifiable. All right? In this case, I can simplify this way. I already did simplify this way. Give me 4 over 3. Now I'm simplifying this way. Give me what? 4 over 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4 over 1. So now I'm already in the simplest form. So now I can go ahead and perform the double arrow method. So 4 times 4 is 16. 1 times 1 is 1. So that means that P equals to 16. So that means what the total potatoes should be in the bag? 16 potatoes, alright? So I already got 12 in the container. 13, 14, 15, 16. See that? See how things works? Alright, makes sense, isn't it? Good. Alright, my dear students, that's what's time for right now. Time for hands-on practice, okay? Well, let Mr. Mac put this away and I'll be back in a few seconds and then we can work together. Work on the hands-on practice, okay? I'll be back. Alright, my dear students, I got a few problems listed on the board and I'm going to step out, you step in and have fun with it, okay? Once you're done, invite Mr. Mac in and we'll work together, alright? Have fun. I'll be back with you. How was it? It's not bad, isn't it? Pretty easy, very straightforward. Okay, good. Well, let's do it together, alright? Okay, come on over, okay? First question. 15% of a number is 30. What is the number? Okay, 15% of a number is 30. What is the number? So let's understand that 15% of a number is 30. That means 15% is 30. The number is going to be 100%. Alright, that's what we're looking for. What is that 100%, the number? Alright, if you're told the relation is the 15% is 30. Okay, we're going to use the aeroplane method. Alright, so that's the best thing. Just put up the aeroplane method, set up the model. Alright, and we know 15% is 30. So we're going to put 15%, it's 30. And we're looking for n, the total number, the number, okay? And which is the 100%. Which is the 100%. We know that's 100%, but we don't know what is that number. Alright? And that's how we set up this way. So we're looking for n. In order for me to look for n, in other words, I will need to isolate n. So in order for me to isolate n, who got to go? 30. And what's 30 doing towards n? It's dividing. Cross the bridge, it becomes division, multiplication. So division cross the bridge become multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite 100% over 15% cross the bridge times 30, which is n. Okay, so I'm looking for n. So I'm going to solve this. So I'm going to cancel the percentage. Look at that, 15 and 30. I can simplify. I can divide this by 15. I can divide this by 15. So now I can divide this by 15 and I can divide this by 15. See that? So that becomes 15 divided by 15 becomes 1. So let me rewrite that. 100 over 15 divided by 15 is 1. 30 divided by 15 is 2. Now remember, we got to put this over 1. Okay, so we're going to put over 1. So now I'm going to use the double arrow method. Okay, so I'm going to use double arrow method. So 100 times 2, it's 200. Okay, so 200, 1 times 1 is 1. So which is n equals to 200. So the number is 200. So 15% of 200 is 30. 15% of 200 is 30. Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Okay, the key is setting up the aeroplane method, all right, the model, the aeroplane model, and then just plugging in and then extract the information, plug them in and solve it. Rest is just arithmetic. All right, so let's do second one, B. Okay, so 40% of a number is 20. What is the number? So let's understand again. 40% of a number, and that's the 100%. Okay, the number is the 100%. The whole thing is 20. So out of that, this number, 40% out of that number gives you 20, and we want to find out what is that number. Okay, so what do? We again put the aeroplane model, all right, the aeroplane method. Okay, so we know 40% is 20, so we're going to put 40% is 20. Is the 100% is the one we don't know what it is. Okay, so we're just going to put n. We're going to just put a random variable. All right, so we're looking for n. So n is the total, all right? So in order for me to find n, or in other words, in order for me to isolate n, I got to get rid of 20. 20 got to go. What's 20 doing towards n? It's dividing. So division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. That's from Max's first law, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this. So 100% over 40%, division cross becomes 20. Multiply by 20, okay? Over 1. I'm going to put it as a fraction, okay? Equals to n. Now I'm going to simplify. 0, 0 can cancel. 2 can divide by 2. 4 can divide by 2. See that? And then that's going to give me 100. First we're going to also cancel the percentage, okay? So get rid of the percentage. So I got 100 over 4 divided by 2 is what? 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 over 1. Now I can divide 100 with 2. So that becomes 50. See that? So this one becomes 1 and this one becomes 50. So now 50 times 1, 1 times 1. So that gives me 50 over 1. So that means n equals to 50. See that? So 40% of 50 is 20. There you go. Very easy, okay? So the key thing is setting up this aeroplane model, all right? And then extracting this information, plugging them in, and then solving it arithmetically. That's it, all right? Okay, good. All right, so let me reach the board and then we'll do problem number 2, okay? And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. All right, my dear students, problem number 2. You're given in the form of a word problem. 60% of Sam's income is 1,800 ringgits. What is Sam's income? See that? So you're told 60% of his income is 1,800 ringgits. So what would be the total income? So his original income, the 100%. So what do? Yeah, we just do the aeroplane method, okay? So let's extract the information. 60% is 100,800, okay? So 60% is 1,800. And we're looking for the 100%. We don't know what his income is, the total income. So we're looking for the 100%. So we're going to put 100% and we don't know this income. We just going to put I. All right? So now I'm solving for I. In other words, I need to isolate I. So who got to go? 1,800. So what's 1,800 doing towards I? It's dividing. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. Very good. Okay. So I'm going to bring it across the bridge. It's going to multiply. Okay. I'm going to put it as over 1 as a fraction. Okay. So equals to I. So now I'm going to simplify. Before I do that, I cancel the percentage off. So I can take 0 off. All right. I cancel the 0. All right. Now I can divide 6 and I can divide 180 by 6. Okay. So I'm going to divide this by 6. I'm going to divide this by 6. Okay. So let's rewrite this. Okay. So you got 100 over 6 divided by 6 is 1. Now we're going to do the 180 divided by 6. Okay. So let's use the long division method. Okay. So I'm going to use the cage approach. So I'm going to put the cage 180 kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. The 6 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. Okay. So 1. We cannot go to the next digit. 18. 18 is how many 6? 3. So 3 times 6 is 18. Minus gives you 0. Now once you came down to 0, you bring the 0 up. There's a 1 more 0. You just bring it up. So that makes it 30. Okay. So 30 over 1. So now we use the double arrow method. 100 times 30. So whenever you multiply a round number with another like 100 or 100 or 1,000, just take that 2 zeros and put behind it. So it becomes 3 0, which is that, and then you just add 2 more 0 behind it over 1. So that means I equals to 3,000. So Sam's income, the total income is 3,000 ringgits. Okay. So 60% of Sam's 3,000 income is 1,800. Okay, so that is the Sam's income. All right, so pretty straightforward. So the answer should be RM 3,000. That should be your answer. Okay, so that's your answer. 3,000 ringgits. All right. Okay, good. Wow, we learned so much. Well, that's a 3 scenario on dealing with the solving with percentage. Okay. Now next we're going to talk about is finding percent increase and finding percent decrease. Alright, okay, I'll explain more. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll talk more about percent increase and percent decrease. And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now in this section we're going to talk about percentage increase, percentage decrease. Alright, so we're going to find out what would be the percentage when something been increased from 100% and something's been decreased from 100%, and what would the percentage be. Okay, when would that usually happen? Let's say for example, okay, you got 100 eggs and someone give you 20 eggs. That means it increased, and you want to find out what is your increase, because you initially had what, 100%, and then you brought another 20. That one makes it what, 120%, because the increase is 20%. See that? From 100 eggs, when I give you another 20 eggs, that makes 120 eggs. So that means there's an increase of 20%. See that? And then let's see another example. Okay, you want to buy a book. Let's say for example the book is 10 ringgits, and then that was the original price, and then because you didn't want to buy that day, so you went back the following day. They said the price went down and it's 8 ringgit. See that? So that means there's a decrease, and you want to find out the percentage of decrease. Again, if I had to calculate that, it will also show 20% decrease. See that? So the 20% decrease from $10, 10 ringgits drop down to 8 ringgits. So that means the reduced by 20%. In other words, by 2 ringgits. That makes it 20% reduced. Alright? So let's look at another example. Let's bring the table up. So let's talk about this time Mr. Mac got something exciting. Look at what Mr. Mac got here. Oh, I got Rabina fruit. Actually, it's a flower, Rabina flower. Alright, it's very good. Mr. Mac make my own Rabina. Okay, I do not buy from the store because there's so much sugar in it. It's not good for you. So I make my own. I will tell you how to make a Rabina. Okay, so it's really healthy. Okay, now let's talk about mathematics. Then I'll tell you how to make Rabina later on. Alright, okay. Alright, so now let's say for example I got 20 of them. Alright, let's count that. 1, let's do quick. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Okay, so I'm going to make a Rabina juice. Alright, so I got 20 flowers, Rabina flowers. Alright, so now suddenly my little sister walked in and she said, brother, I got 4 more to give you. So what is that? My initially what, 20, that was what, how many percent? 100%. And then my little sister came in and she said, alright, thank you my dear little sister. Then she gave me another 4 more. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's an increase. My original is what? 20. And I was given another 4 more, which was not a part of my 100%, but that's an increase. That's the increase of 4 more. So that makes it how many total? 24. So we want to find out what is the increase. Alright, so now I got 24. So my initial is what? My initial was 20. Alright, then I increased it up to 24. I want to find what is the increase, the percentage of the increase. To find the percentage of the increase, what you want to do is you take the difference of the highest minus the lowest and you divide it by the original 100%. What was the original 100%? Okay, 20. And then you're going to times it with 100%. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Alright, another way of doing it is we can use the aeroplane method. Alright, what's our aeroplane method? Let's stick with our aeroplane method. Alright, forget about that way. Alright, let's stick with our aeroplane method. So it increased from 20 to 24. So that means what is the increase? The difference is 4. Am I right? So we want to find out what is the 4 percentage would be. What 4 makes, what percentage it makes. Okay, so we're going to put our aeroplane method and then we're going to put the wings. So let's find out what was the 100%. 100% was 20. That was our 100%. Alright, and what was the increased by how many? By 4. So we're going to put the 4 on the top right there. All right, and that's the one we're looking for, percentage. So in this case, Ribena, okay? So I'm just going to put a R. So we're looking for R. All right, so we're looking for R. So we know 100% makes 20. That 4%, the 20 pieces of the flower, Ribena flowers, the 4 flowers, Ribena flowers makes how many percent? That's what the increase is going to be, okay? So we're looking for R. So in order for me to look for R, that means, in other words, I'm isolating R. That means who got to go? 100%. All right? So 100% cross the bridge becomes multiplication, okay? So R equals to 4 over 20 times 100%. I'm going to put it as a fraction over 1. Okay? All right? So now I'm going to simplify. I can divide. First I can cancel the 0 and 0. See that? 0 and 0 get cancelled. Now look at that. 2 and 4. I can divide 4 by 2. I can divide 2 by 2. So that gives me 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 times 10%. Because the 0 already been cancelled out. All right? Over 1. So now I can use the double arrow method. So 2 times 10% is 20%. 1 times 1 is 1, which makes 20%. So that 4 Ribena flower, okay, increment of 20%. 20%. So my new percentage is what? 120%. See that? But if I ask you to find the increase percentage, or in other words, the percentage increase is what? 20%. So that 4 Ribena flower that I added to it, actually the increase is 20%. See that? Pretty straightforward, isn't it? Alright? Okay, good. And I promised you I'm going to tell you how to make the Ribena juice. It's very easy. What you have to do is you break it open. There's a seed inside this flower. Okay, throw that away. Okay, throw that seed away. I'm assuming this is a flower. If you want to call this a fruit, I'll say it's fine too. Alright, so throw that away, and then I usually blend them. I blend them in the blender so that they become more smaller pieces. Then I boil them. Don't boil them, but heat them up such a way that you will start seeing the Ribena colors coming out. It's a beautiful color. All right, it's just start coming out into the water. All right, put nice nice big container. Make sure your mom and dad's next to you, or someone older than you there to help you too. Okay, because you're dealing with stoves. All right, so make sure you have an adult watching you doing. All right, so once it start don't let it boil. Okay, because you'll destroy the vitamins. So just let it get it once that you start seeing all this the colors are spreading out into the water, and then you stop it. Okay, and then use the what do you call the filter to filter out the pieces that you blended. Okay, and then put some little bit of sugar. Oh, if you want to put some ice cube in it and have a nice Ribena. Okay, that's it. Pretty easy. Okay, good. And you can put it in the refrigerator. You can keep it for a few days. All right, they'll stay fresh. Okay, good. All right. Okay, that's how to make Ribena juice. All right. Okay, good. And you also learn how to find the increase. Okay. Now let Mr. Mac put it away, and then we're going to talk about decrease. And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now let's talk about percentage decrease. Alright, now why would that be decrease? This happened one time. Mr. Mac went to market to buy some eggs. I bought the one full tray. There were 24 eggs. Alright, so I carried them and everything, and I put in the car, and I forgot I put my bag on top of it. I didn't realize that. So when I got home and took my bag out, and then brought the eggs into the house, took it to the kitchen and look at it, 6 of them are broken. See that? So the 6 bad ones, so I throw the 6 away. So the 6 is the reduce, the percentage reduce. See that? Out of that, 24. 24 is my 100%. 24 is my 100%. The 6 that broke is the reduced percentage. Alright, so that's what it is. Okay, now let's do this. Let's bring the table back in here. Let's look at that Ribena fruit. Okay, now I found out it's a fruit. It's not a flower. Why? Because there's the seeds in it. So okay, let me bring that table back in. Alright, we got this Ribena right here. Okay, so how many are there? How many are there in the container? 20. Okay, let me dump it out. Alright, let me count. Dropped one. Okay. Okay, there are 20 of them. Okay, let's count them. All right, so we got one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, one fell down here, 20. Okay, there are 20 of them, all right? So now, Mr. Max, get excited. I'm ready to make my Ribena juice, okay? So, when I was getting ready to make the Ribena juice, I found that 8 of them are bad. So, what am I going to do? I have to throw them away. I'm not going to use it. So, let's do that. Let's throw 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is gone, all right? And that's my decrease percentage, okay? Percentage decrease, all right? So this is my good one. How many are there? So out of 20, if it's 8 is bad, 20 minus 8, which is 12, okay? The 12 is the good one, all right? And so that would be my leftovers, all right? This is what I'm going to use it to make my Ribena juice, okay? So if I to ask you to find percentage decrease, which number do you use? Do you use the 12 or the 8? Of course you use the 8, because 8 is the one I threw it away. That's the one decrease. The cost that from 20 to be 12 is what? Decrease. Just like earlier, from 20 we increase it to 4. 4 is the cost that increase. This time the 8 is the causing it to be decrease, okay? So if I want to find the percentage for the decrease, what do I do? All right, so let's do that. Okay, now I want to find percentage decrease. All right, so what is the decrease? In this case is 8. 8 is my decrease. See that? All right. Now, if I to given this way, if I told you originally I had 20, and then after the bad one I threw out is 12. So there you go. 20 minus 12. That will give me the 8 bad ones. The bad fruit, okay, Ribena fruits, all right? Okay, so now if I want to find out the percentage decrease, how do I do? Exactly, we're going to use the aeroplane method, all right? Let's use the aeroplane method, right there. Okay, so we know the 100% is how many Ribena fruits? 20, okay? So we're going to put it as the denominator. Always put it, the numbers that you already know, keep them as a denominator. And you always put the percentage this side, the numbers on one side. So you decide. If you feel this way, percentage number, keep it that way. Don't mix it up. That way, one time, the percentage number, percentage, always be consistent. Consistent is the way to go, all right? Okay, good. So we're going to put 100% here, 20 here. Now, we want to find what? The decrease. So what's the decrease? 8. 8 is the decrease, and we want to find the percentage of the decrease. So we don't know what it is, all right? So we're going to put a R, the unknown, a variable. You can give anything. It could be A, it could be B, it could be C, it could be anything, all right? So in this case, Mr. Max just pick R, all right? So in order for me to find R, in other words, when I say I'm finding R, what I'm really doing to R, I'm isolating R. So anything that's around R gotta go. So who's holding up R? 100%. And what's 100% is doing towards R? It's dividing. All right. So Max's first law says division cross the bridge will becomes multiplication, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to cross that bridge. So we're going to send it on the other side of the bridge. So that way R will be isolated. Okay. So cross the bridge becomes multiplication, division. Okay. So R equals to 8 over 20 times 100%. All right. And you got a fraction here. Let's make that into fraction. So 100% over 1. We didn't modify that. Still 100%. All right. It's just that I put 100% over 1. All right. So now I can simplify. Okay. I can simplify 0, 0. I can cancel. See that? 0, 0. I can cancel. All right. So now I can divide 8 and 2 by what? 2, because they have a common. So I can 2 can be divided by 8 and also with 2. So that gives me 8 divided by 2 is 4. 2 divided by 2 is 1 times 10%, all right, over 1. So now I can use the double arrow method, because I already simplified it, all right? There's no more I can simplify any further. So I can use double arrow method, which gives me 4 times 10% is 40% over 1, which is 40%. So the percentage decrease is what? 40%. Okay? So that's it right there. That means what's my new percentage? So the amount of Ribena that I'm going to be using, will be 60%, because 100 minus 40, it's 60%, because I'm only using 60% of what I had, because 40% is spoiled. It got bad, which I threw it away. See that? All right? Okay, good. I'm so glad you're understanding how to do increase percentage and decrease percentage. All right, finding the percentage of increase and percentage of decrease. All right, let Mr. Mac get all this out of the way, and we'll learn more, all right, on the board. And give me a few seconds, I'll be back with you. Okay. All right, my dear students, that was awesome experimentation, wasn't it? Okay, good. Now let's do some problems. Okay, now when Mr. Mac was living in the United States, Mr. Mac also went to university there, and when I graduated, and Mr. Mac was working for a company, they started me with $50,000 as a salary. Okay, I was working in US, so they paid in US dollars, so it was 50,000 US dollars, and then after 3 years they increased it to 70,000. Okay, $70,000, okay, my salary. So now let's say, for example, we want to find the percentage increase. Okay, what is my percentage increase? From 50,000 went up to 70,000. All right, the percentage increase would be the difference, all right, from the 70 minus the 50,000. 70,000 minus the 50,000. All right, so that gives me the increase. And then we're going to find the percentage of the increase. All right, okay, let's do that. So let's first write it down. Okay, my first year Mr. Mac was making how much? 50,000. all right, so because I was working in US, so United States of America, so they were paying me in dollars. All right, and then after 3 years there was an increment. Okay, and then on the third year Mr. Mac's salary became 70,000. all right, so 70,000. So now I want to find what is my percentage increase. All right, so first I need to find out what is the increase, how much increase that I received. All right, so how do I do that? I take the difference, 70,000 minus 50,000. So 70,000 minus 50,000. all right, okay, so a big number like this, we line them up. All right, we bring the 50,000, line it up. All right, so that's the right way to do it. So we know all this is going to be same, this is zeros, so we're just going to put zeros, and then 7 minus 5 is 20. So that's a $20,000 increase from first year to the third year, and I want to find out the percentage. Okay, so how do we do that? Very good. We're going to use the aeroplane method. All right, so this is the aeroplane's body, and this is the wing. Okay, and we know 100%. Always start with 100%. See if you can find 100%. 100% is what? 50. Always the original, not after it's increased. Keep in mind, the original is what? This is the 100%. This has already been increased. It's not the original. This is the increased salary. Okay, all right, this is the original. All right, so which is 100% will be 50,000. all right, so 50,000. keep in mind, 100% is 50,000. that's the original salary. Okay, and that should be of 100%. And what is the increase? They increased by 20,000. okay, because we're looking for the increase, not the new salary, which is my, let's say this is my third year. I'm not looking for 70,000. I'm finding the percentage increase. Okay, that means I took the difference from 70 minus 50, give me 20, which is 20,000. all right, that's my increase, and that's the percentage I'm looking for. all right, so let's give a variable to it. Let's just put S. all right, salary S. all right, we can do that. You can pick any variable, any letters. all right, because we don't know, so we got to give something to assign so we can find that. We're looking for this, the percentage that represents the 20,000 increase. all right, so in order for me to find S, in other words, what I'm trying to do to S, I'm isolating S. Anything holding the S or anything surrounding the S gotta go. Okay, so what is holding S right now? The 100% holding S in the form of division. So we're going to take it across the bridge. So the 100% got to go across the bridge. From Max's first law, what does it say? Division cross the bridge will becomes multiplication. all right, so that means the division 100% will becomes multiplication when I move it to the other side. So S equals to 20,000 over the original 50,000 times 100%. Okay, since this one's in a form of fraction, I'm going to put this as over 1. Now look at all these zeros. Always start from the end. Cancel them, cancel them, cancel them, cancel them. See that? Now look at that. 5 and 100. I can divide 5 with 5. I can divide 100 with 5. Okay? So now that gives me 2 over 5 divided by 5 is 1. 100 divided by 5. So we're going to use the long division method, okay? So we're going to put the cage approach. 100 is kind of into Mr. Bag, okay? I'm going to put inside the cage. 5 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. In 1, I can't go to the next digit. 10 is 75? 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Minus give me 0. Then I bring this 0 up. Alright? That means 20. Gives me 20. 20 over 1. So I'm going to use the double arrow method. When you're multiplying two fractions, you use double arrow method. 2 times 20 is 40. Now be careful, we forgot to put the percentage. Make sure you put the percentage. 40%. 1 times 1 is 1. Because we're looking for percentage. I say S equals to 40%. So my increase is how much? 40%. The 40% is the 20,000 increase. So I've been increasing from first year to third year. They increased me by 40%. So I can tell if somebody asks you, what's your new salary? Well, they increased me to 40%. See that? Rather than, if I don't want to tell how much been increased, I can just use the percentage. Alright? Or my boss can come to me and say, you know what? We're going to increase you to 40%. Then I can calculate myself, find out what my new salary is going to be. This is my new salary. See that? So from my original salary, and this become my new salary. Does that make sense? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. Now let's talk about decrease, okay? So, well, let Mr. Mike erase the board. I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now let's talk about decrease, okay? Percentage decrease. Okay, let's take a scenario. Okay, when Mr. Mac came back from US to Malaysia, I didn't have a car. So I need a car. So I started looking for a car, and that was beginning of the year, and I don't want to spend too much money. So I found a dealer said, well, the price of the car was 64,000 ringgits last year. Okay, it was last year model, but he said if I buy the last year model, he will give me 8,000 off, 8,000 ringgits off. In other words, reduce it 8,000. So that means I'm going to save 8,000. Am I right? So what's my reduced percentage? Percentage reduce or decrease. Percentage decrease will be what? That's what we're going to find. Alright, let's write that down. Okay, so let's say Mr. Mac came back on 2010. The car dealer, the salesman says, okay, the tag price, he told me the tag price of the car is 64,000. Okay, 64,000 ringgits. Alright, so but he said, because I'm buying the year-old model, so he is going to take 8,000 off. So 8,000 off. So that means it would have been 56,000. So he said, I only have to pay 56,000. Alright? So, what is the 100% here? 64,000 or the 56,000? Definitely the original price, which is 64,000. Because the salesman is reducing it for me by 8,000 and make it to 56,000. How do I know 8,000? Because if I take 64,000 minus 56,000 will give me 8,000. See that? So 8,000 is reducing. So I want to find out what is the percentage reduce. The percentage decrease, I should say. Percentage decrease. What is my percentage decrease? Okay, so first let's subtract them. Alright, so let's say if I had given a problem like this, I told you the initial price is 64,000 ringgit and been reduced down to 56,000 ringgit. So what would be the percentage of the reduce? Alright, so I take the difference. Okay, so I take 64,000 minus 56,000. 0, 0, 0 minus, all give me 0, 0. 4 minus 6, can I borrow from 6? 6 becomes 5, 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 6 gives me 8,000. Alright, so 8, so 8,000. So the discount is giving me is 8,000. Alright, 8,000 ringgits. So I want to find out the reduce or the decrease percentage, the percentage of decrease. So which one do I use? Of course the 8,000. Alright, so what method are we going to use? The aeroplane method. So we're going to put the body of the aeroplane and the two wings right there. Okay? Alright, good. Now first thing you want to ask, whenever you're doing problem like that, is 100% is what? Alright, in this case 100% would be the original price. Always the original. The original would be the 100%, which is a 64. Alright, 64,000. So put the 100%, 64, because I know this both. That's why I put as a denominator. The one that I'm looking for, always keep it as a numerator, which is what? I wanted to find out the reduced or the decreased percentage, which I don't know. So I want to find out the decrease. Let's put C, a variable, okay, which is what? 8,000. I know the decreased price, the price be decreased by 8,000, and I want to find out the percentage of the decrease, okay, which I don't know. I put as a C, okay, I put a C. And I'm looking for C, or in other words, I want to isolate C. Who got to go? The 100,000. And what's 100,000 is doing to C? It's dividing. That means I got to move the C 100,000 to cross the bridge, okay, to the other side, okay. So it's going to cross the bridge, okay. And what's when it division cross the bridge, it becomes, based on Max's first law, what it says? Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. So it becomes multiplication. C equals to 8,000 over 64,000 times 100%. Now we want to keep it as a fraction, so we can put over 1. Alright? So I'm going to cancel the zeros first. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I can divide 8 by 8. I can divide 64 by 8. So that gives me 8 divided by 8 is what? Okay, 8 divided by 8 gives me 1. 64 divided by 8 gives me 8 times 100%. See that? Okay, so now I can simplify more, because I can simplify it between 8 and 100. I can divide this by 4. I can divide this by 4. So that gives me, let me write that down here. So that gives me 1 over 8 divided by 4 is 2 times 100% divided by 4 will give me 25%. Okay, so 25% over 1. So now I want to go ahead and do the double arrow method. So 1 times 25% gives me 25%. 2 times 1 gives me 2. Now, am I going to leave it like this? No, this is 25% over 2. In other words, if I use the arrow down method, that is 25% divided by 2. Okay, so I'm going to use the long division method, okay, which means the cage approach. 25 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. I'm going to keep the percentage out for right now, so it'll be easier for me to divide. The 2 is kind of dividing kind of out from me. I'll put outside. Okay, so in 2 there's how many? 2, 1. 1 times 2 is 2, minus give me 0. I bring the 5 down. In 5 there's how many? 2. 2, because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, minus give me 1. I can add a decimal right there, and then put a 0, bring the 0 down. In 10 there's how many? 2. 5. Now be careful, the decimal, I got to bring the decimal up. So I put 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 minus 10 is 0. That means I'm done. So that means tells me this is 12.5%. So the salesman gave me 12.5% decrease. The percentage decrease is 12.5%. So I got a discount. I got a discount for 12.5%. So the car that I bought, I got it for a 12.5% discount from the original price, which is 64,000 ringgits. I got it for 56,000 ringgits. It's a great car. All right. Okay. Good. All right. So that's how you learn. That's how you do. Okay, the percentage increase, percentage decrease. Okay, good. What does that tell you? Time for hands-on practice. All right. Okay, my dear students, Mr. Max going to erase the board, and I'll be back within a few seconds, and then we'll call Pablo out. All right, so you can do some hands-on practice. I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, are you ready? Are you ready to do some hands-on practice? Good, I am excited. Alright, well, let's see what Pablo's doing. He's just finishing up the hands-on practice. Let's call him out. Pablo, come on over, bring it over the worksheet. Our dear students are ready to do the hands-on practice. Come on over, Pablo, come on over. Yes, all right. My dear students, Pablo's going to hand over the worksheet to you and go have fun with it, all right? And then once you're done, come back, invite Mr. Mac in, and we can work together, all right? Here it is, have fun. All right. Okay, good. All right, let's look at the problems, all right? So the first one says, find the percentage increase. So percentage increase, we're finding the increase, all right? Always understand the question. Okay, what we're looking for, the increase. So we're given from 240 to another 340 liter to 300 liter from. So we're starting with what? 240 liter. That makes what? 100%. And the 300 is a new, the increased. All right, so first we want to find out what. Let's write down. Okay, so first problem A, and we're given 240 liters, and then it was increased to 300 liters. Okay, so we want to find out the percentage increase. So first we take the difference, 300 minus 240. So 300 minus 240. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 4 you can't. I borrow from 3. 3 becomes 2. 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0. So the increase is 60. All right, and we want to find out the percentage increase for 60. What method we're going to use? Exactly, the aeroplane method. Okay, so let's first we're going to start with 100%, and we know 100% is the original, which is 240. So we're going to put 240 right there. All right, and we're looking for 60. So we're going to put the 60 right there and the percentage. Okay, so we're just going to give a variable P. Okay, I'm looking for P and I'm solving for P. In other words, I'm isolating P. Isolating P means anything surrounding P got to go. So what's holding P? 100,000. 100%. Okay, 100%. So I need to take the 100%, cross the bridge. And so percent, in this case 100% is doing what? Dividing. Division cross the bridge becomes multiplication. So P equals to 60 over 240 times 100%. Now since this is in a fraction, I'm going to put this also in the form of fraction. So we're going to cancel the 0. Cancel, 0, 0, cancel. I'm going to divide this by 6. I can divide this by 6. See that? Now how do I know that? Because this is from the timetable. By looking at the number, I know 24 can be divided by 6. 6 can be divided by 6. See that? So now 6 divided by 6 is 1. And then 24 divided by 6 is 4. Okay, that's from our timetable, right? And then I'm going to rewrite the 100% over 1. But I can simplify between this. I can divide this by 4 and I can divide this by 4 as well. See that? So that gives me 1 over 4 divided by 4 is what? 1. Times 100 divided by 4, 25. Make sure you put the percentage back, okay? Then I'm going to use the double arrow method and I'm going to multiply. So 1 times 25% is 25% over 1. 1 times 1, which is 25%. So it increased from 240 to 300 liter, 240 liter to 300 liter. The increased percentage is what? The percentage increase is 25%. Okay? Okay, good. So 25%. All right, let's look problem B. Now problem B, you're given from 40 kilograms to 70 kilograms. All right, so we want to find the increase. So what is the increase from 40 to 70? We take the difference. All right, so 70 minus 40. 0 minus 0 is 0. 7 minus 4 is 3. So that's 30 is the increase. So increase 30 kilograms, all right, from 40 to 70. And we want to find out the percentage increase. And what method again? Exactly, the aeroplane method. All right, now first put the 100% and ask yourself, what is the 100%? 40 kilograms or the 70 kilograms? Always the original. You started with 40 kilograms, okay? 40 is your 100%. All right, and you're looking for the increase. Increase is what? 30%. So I'm going to put the 30 here, and I'm looking for the percentage of the 30% increase. All right, okay, so now then I'm solving for P. That means I have to isolate P. 100% I have to cross the bridge. It's dividing. That means it becomes multiplication. So 30 over 40 times 100% over 1. I always want to keep it so over 1 because as a fraction, because this side is a fraction. Okay, now I can simplify. 0, 0 cancel. Now look at that, 4 and 100. I can divide this by 4. I can divide this by 4. That gives me 3 over 1 times 100 divided by 4 is 25%. Okay, make sure you put the percent back. Then I'm going to use the double arrow method. 3 times 25 is 75, okay? 75%, okay? And then 1 times 1 is 1, so that gives me 75%. Remember, 3 times 25. I assume you do that. If you don't, you use the long multiplication. You put 25 and then you line it up with 3. So 3 times 5 is 15, 5 carry 1, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So that's 75 right there. So then 75 over 1, which is 75. Then make sure you bring the percentage, okay? So that increases 75%. 75% increase from 40 to 70. The key thing is solving these problems is what? Knowing which one is 100%. Always the original is the 100%. And they're asking for the increase. That means the difference between 70 and 40 will give you the increase. And you use the airplane method, you're not going to make a mistake. Alright? Okay, let's look problem number 2. Okay, problem number 2. Alright, let Mr. Mac erase the board. Okay, then we'll have some room. I'll be back with you. Alright, problem number 2. Okay, so let's do that. It's a word problem. Now always keep in mind when you're dealing with word problems, how do you solve word problems? Okay, when you read it, okay, read it and try to understand what the question has been given to you, okay, and then try to extract the information that's given in the question here and then use them to come to the conclusion, to the answer. Alright, let's do that. Let's read it. Okay, let's just read it first. Vicky's income increased from 320,000 ringgits to 360,000 ringgits within a year. What is the percentage increase in the income of Vicky? See that? They're asking for percentage increase. Alright, so that means you already know they're asking percentage increase. That means they have to give you the difference, I mean the original and then the final. Alright, so that way you can find the percentage increase. Alright, and they did give you the initial was 320,000 and it increased to 360,000. So we're going to use those information. Alright, so let's do 2. Alright, it started with 320,000 ringgits and then it went up to 360,000 ringgits. Alright, see there's an increase there. And we want to find out the difference. We want to find out what is the increase. So how we do that? We take the big one, 360,000. We're going to subtract that with 320,000. Alright, line it up. Alright, very important, lining up. Okay. So we're going to subtract 0, 0, 0, 0. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 3 is 0. So the increase is 40,000. So 40,000 is the increase, and that's the percentage increase you're going to find. Alright, so we're going to use the airplane method. And what is the 100%? The 100% is the original salary. 100% is the original income. So what is the original income for Vicky? 320,000. Say that's the 100%. So we're going to put 320,000. That's the 320,000 as the original income. Alright, so 320,000. Okay, that's the original income. And then we're looking for the percentage increase. That means we're going to use this one, the 40,000. Okay, so we're going to put 40,000. We're going to put on the top. Alright, and that's the percentage we're looking for, the percentage increase. Okay, so we're looking for P. That means who got to go? Exactly, 100% got to cross the bridge. Based on Max's first law, division across the bridge becomes multiplication. So P equals to 40,000 over 320,000. Multiply that with 100%. Over 1. We're going to put over 1 because a fraction here. We're going to keep that as a fraction. Okay. So let's cancel. Make sure you cancel the zeros. Alright. Accordingly. If you cancel one here, you got to cancel that. Cancel one here, cancel that. Cancel one there, cancel that. See that? Now then you simplify it. This one you can divide that by 4. You can divide this by 4. So that gives you 4 divided by 4 is 1. 32 divided by 4 is, very good, 8. Okay. And then times 100% over 1. Now I can divide this by 4. I can divide this by 4. That gives me 1 over 2 times 25% over 1. See that? Now I use the double arrow method. So that gives me 25% over 2. I don't want to leave the answer like that. That's an improper. So I'm going to divide. Use a long division. Okay? Use the Cage approach. That's actually what it is. 25% divided by 2. using the arrow down method. The 25 is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'm going to put inside the cage. For right now, I'm just going to leave the percentage out, okay? 2 is kind of out from Mr. Mac, I'm going to put outside the cage. So in 2 there's how many 2? 1. 1 times 2 is 2 minus 0. I bring the 5 down. In 5 there's how many 2? Very good, 2. Alright, 2 times 2 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. That means I want to put a decimal and put a 0. Make sure you carry the decimal up. Bring the 0 down. In 10 there's how many 2? 5. So 5 times 2 is 10 minus 0. So that gives me 12.5%. So Vicky's income increased, percentage increase, okay, for 12.5%. The percentage increase, or Vicky's income increased for 12.5%. So it's increased for 40,000, which makes 12.5%. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward. The key thing is what? The aeroplane method, and able to define that what is the 100%. All right, what are you looking for? Once you plug those in, and rest of it just arithmetic, you just solve it using Maxwell's law. All right, good. Let's go to problem number 3. All right, problem number 3. Now this one they said find the percentage decrease. We're going to find the decrease. All right, earlier we found the increase. Now we're going to find the decrease. So from 720 ringgits to 180 ringgits. So the first question A, 720 ringgits to 180 ringgits. All right, so that's the decrease. So we want to find what? The difference. Okay, so we're going to take the difference between these two, 720 minus 180, and that will give us the decrease. 0 minus 0 is 0, 2 minus 8, I cannot borrow from 7, 7 becomes 6, 2 becomes 12, 12 minus 2 is 4, 6 minus 1 is 5. So the decrease of 540 ringgits, and that's the percentage we're looking for. All right, that's the decrease price. All right, the amount, 540. Okay, so what method we're going to use? Exactly the aeroplane method. And we know 100%. And what's the original? Original is 720. Okay, 720. And we're looking for 540. And that's the percentage we're looking for. We're looking for P. We're going to isolate P. So 100% got to cross the bridge. So P equals to 540 over 720 times 100%. And we're going to put that over 1. All right? 0, 0 going to cancel. So now you got 54 over 72. Now, from our timetable, what can 54 can be divided by and 72 can be divided by a common number that 54 and 72 can be divided by? 6. Exactly, 6 and 6. Because we know that 54 divided by 6 is what? 9. 72 divided by 6 is 12. Okay, then times 100%. Now we can divide further. Okay, we can also divide this by 3. We can divide this by 3. So that will bring it down to 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. See that? Okay. So then we got times 100% over 1. I can divide this by 4. I can divide this by 4. So 3 over 4 divided by 4 is 1. So that gives me 3 over 1 times 100 divided by 4, 25. We keep the percent, 25% over 1. Okay, now use the double arrow method. 3 times 25 is 75. Carry the percentage over 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So the P is 75%. So the reduction, okay, the percentage of decrease, the percentage decrease is 75%, okay. So that's for 540. So 540 is 75% decrease. All right, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do the part B, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, let's do B. Now B, again, the question 3 is what? Find the percentage decrease, okay? So 3B. So 3B, we're looking from 250 degrees Fahrenheit to 25 degree Fahrenheit, and we're looking for the percentage decrease. All right, so that means we first got to take the difference. All right, let's do the difference. 250 minus 25. So line it up. Once you line it up, 0 minus 5, you can't borrow from 5. 5 becomes 4, 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5, and 4 minus 2 is 2, and then you bring the 2 down, so it becomes 225. So 225 is the decrease, but that's in Fahrenheit. But we want the percentage decrease, percentage, a percentage decrease. All right, okay, so what method we're going to use? Aeroplane method. So because this is the one we're going to find, the percentage decrease, so that's the reason why we want to subtract that from 250. It's went down to 25. Now remember, what is the 100%? Once you identify the 100%, which is this, everything will go smooth after that. 100% is 250, and we're looking for 225, and we're going to put it right there, 225, and then percentage. That's the percentage you're looking for, the decreased percentage for 225. All right, be careful. Make sure you keep the percentage one side, the number one side. 100%, 250. See that? Very important. Don't mix it up. Then the problem is wrong. Once you mix it up, it's gone. The answer is going to be wrong. All right. So make sure you keep the percentage one side, the numbers one side. In 100%, line it up with the value 100%. What's, parallel to 100%, the value. Okay. All right. We're looking for P, isolating P. So 100% got to cross the bridge. So P equals to 225 divided by 250 times 100%. And we're going to put that as a fraction because the other side is also in fraction. All right. We're going to simplify. We're going to cancel 0, 0. We're going to divide this by 5. And we're going to divide this by 5. Okay, so that gives me 225 over 5 times 10 divided by 5 is 2 over 1. 2. Okay, now we can also divide this by 5. I can divide this by 5. All right, so that's going to be long division. So we're going to take 2. We're going to use the Cage approach. Let me use over here. Okay, so 225, because 225 is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'm going to put inside the cage. The 5 is kind of out, I'll put outside the cage. In 2, I go to 22. In 22, there's 75. 4, because 4 times 5 is 20. 2 minus 0 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. And I'm going to bring the 5 down. In 25, there's 75. 5. So 5 times 5 is 25 minus 0. 5 times 5 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. See that? So 25 minus 25 is 0. That means 45. So this becomes 45 over 1 times 2% over 1. Because 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay? So now I use the double arrow method. So 45 times 2, it's 90. Then you want to put the percentage over 1. So that means 90%. Okay? So the percentage decrease from 250 to 25 is 90%. All right? Okay? All right, good. All right, let's do problem 4. Another word problem, okay? Julie's weight decreased from 50 kilograms to 30 kilograms within 6 months. All right, so see the thing, whenever you have a word problem, just read it, try to understand what they're asking first. So once you know what they're asking for, then you can extract what you needed from the information that was provided. Usually the first paragraph they'll give you the information. The last paragraph, the last sentences is where you're going to find what they want from you. Look at that. Calculate the percentage decrease in weight. See that? The percentage decrease. So we're given Julie's weight decreased from 50 kilograms to 30 kilograms. All right? Okay, problem 4. So Julie's weight decreased from 50 kilograms to 30 kilograms. Okay? And they want to know the percentage decrease. That means we're going to take the difference between 50 and the 30. All right? So 0 minus 0, 0. 5 minus 3, 20. This is the decrease. Okay? So Julie's lost 20 kilograms. That's the decrease. So we're going to find the percentage decrease for the 20 kilogram. All right. So we're going to use the aeroplane method. So what is 100%? That's the original weight, which is what? 50 kilograms. All right. Not 30. That's the final after reduced. All right. So 50 kilograms. And we're looking for 20 kilograms. See that? So that's the percentage we're looking for. So I'm looking for P, 100% got across the bridge to isolate, in order to isolate P, okay? So P equals to 20 over 50 times 100% over 1. I keep it as a fraction, all right? Okay, now look, 50 and 100. I can divide this by 50. I can divide this by 50. So that gives me 20 over 1 times 2% over 1. See that? Because, oh, I can cancel the 0, 0 and then divide that by 5, divide that by 5. It's easier. See that? 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. And then bring the 1 and then right there. Okay, now use the double arrow method. 20 times 2% gives me 40%. 1 times 1, 1, which is 40%. So in other words, Julie's lost 40% between 6 months, all right, which is the percentage decrease. See that? See how sometimes people use percentage to describe, oh, I lost 20 pounds, or I can even say I lost 15% of my weight. That means, so you get the idea, wow, the 15% of that person's weight. Okay, does that make sense? All right, good. Wow, that's a good problems. All right, thank you, Pablo. You did a good job. All right, my dear students, time for quiz. All right, so go have fun with the quiz, and then I'll see you the next lesson. This is the end of our lesson on percentage. Okay, an exciting lesson is waiting for you. It's going to be so much fun, and we're going to have so much fun with that one too. I'll be here waiting for you to come back as a victorious, as a champion, as a champ. All right, because you're going to do your quiz and you're going to finish it up, and then you're going to come and join Mr. Mac to learn more, to be best student, because you are the best. You are. And I know you deserve the best. That's why Mr. Mac is here, to bring the best. And it's coming from the best. All right, champ. Go get him. Okay? I'll be waiting for you for the next lesson. Bye-bye.